Hello and welcome to the
Hola, amigos.
NerdCast. Hello. So today, for our video, we're going to be doing our top 5 versions of Batman. So for a while I was getting these top 5 ideas, this one never crossed my head for some reason, which is surprising. I knew we had to do villains, I knew we had to do movies, I knew we had to do sidekicks, but I completely forgot about what versions of Batman are the best, not based on the individual movie, game, or episode of cartoon. So Grayson, would you like to start off with your number 5?
Here, let me look at my list real quick because I haven't looked at it in a while.
Where is my water? Housekeep? I'm kidding.
Okay. Wait, what?
I'm kidding. Where's my water?
My number 5 is Year One. Brayden hasn't seen Year One. But the reason, the movie is good, and that's kind of the only reason I put it up here, because the Batman is not the main character of it. It's Gordon. But he's one of the main characters, and the voice actor for Batman is a voice actor for Alfred. And he just doesn't really do a good job at doing his Batman. He just sounds like a lower voice, but he's trying to sound deep.
He's trying. Like I feel like he's trying, but he's just a generic Batman voice. There's nothing special about him. I have watched some of the movie. I started it.
He literally just sounds like this.
Yeah, he just like...
I could do a better Batman impression just doing a lower voice, but his was terrible.
Yeah. I do like that actor, though. He was in Gotham, and he played Gordon, and I hate that version of Gordon, but I think he's well acted. But, anyways, my number...
What do you mean you hate that version of Gordon? That's the best Gordon.
No, in Gotham. The Gotham TV show, which is not on this list. It'd probably be... I'm going to make Gotham, the TV show, my honorable mention, and the Telltale Games. But my number 5 is a version Grayson hasn't seen, and Grayson probably wouldn't like. Because it's campy, silly, and just insane. My number 5 is the 1960s show. So, the 60s show is just great. Like, it was the first version of Batman outside of the comics, other than the terrible racist movie serials that they made, that were just really bad. But the 60s show...
What do you mean by movie serials?
Okay, so they were like shorter movies. Back then, that's what they were called, when they were made based off comic strips. Back when... But yeah, they made a bunch of movies off of comic strips, and they did one for Batman, of course, but this is back when Batman wasn't as popular, and the movies just sucked. They were racist, they were boring, but anyways. And they were hard to sit through because of how, like, badly made they were. They looked cool, though. The Batcave looked cool. And the actor for Batman was fine. But the 60s show... took inspiration from it was meant to be a parody on Batman, because the creator, William Dozier, didn't really like Batman all too much. And normally I would hate that, but he just made it so well. It had great versions of all the villains, except Joker. I'm not a big fan of their Joker, but I still thought he was good. I thought it was great acted. I didn't think he was that funny, but I thought he was good. Their Riddler was great. He was so complex. He was the classic Riddler, the zany Looney Tune, but he was also kind of had a split personality. He was great. Penguin was just classic Penguin, ripped off the page of a comic. And Catwoman. So Catwoman is my favorite villain on the show, and she's also my second favorite live-action Batman villain, because of how good she is. It also has my favorite Robin.
Oh, I thought it was going to be bad, because... Wait, when was this? The 60s?
60s, yeah.
Yeah, 60s, let's just say it wasn't too nice on women.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be bad. I was like, oh no.
But she was good. She was kind of treated a little, but most of the women on the show weren't. It was mainly just her, but she wasn't treated bad, like, as a sex object. It was actually kind of part of her character, because she was, like, obsessed with Batman, and it was hilarious, and I kind of base all my versions of Catwoman that I write, or make, stop motion or something, based off of her, because I like to make my Catwoman a mentally insane, like, woman obsessed with Batman. And yeah, she was great. Played by 3 different actresses, and I think the first and last ones were the best. And I think had the best Robin ever, and the best live-action Batman, but not the best Batman overall. We'll get to him later. So, anything to say about...
A lot of people, when I said women weren't treated right in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might be thinking, but why? There were so many songs about them and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the 60s, there was a thing called a man beater.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those shirts without any sleeves. It's literally called that because supposedly people would go home and beat their wives.
I didn't know that. That's horrible. The 60s were wild. The 60s sucked, man. But they had some great Batman episodes on an amazing show. So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the Batman from the Red Hood.
Oh,
I
from
feel
Batman
like
Under the Red Hood.
Batman isn't really the main focus of that movie, like, every other Batman movie. But I feel like he's a really good Batman, and just like Year One, Batman is not the main focus of the movie. Gordon was in Year One, and this one, Red Hood is the main character.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's the main antagonist, but they mainly focus on his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman's just, well, on an emotional ride. It was just a normal day for Batman. Then spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, next time you do that, can you do 3, 2, 1? Because seriously, it takes so long. I just want to scream the spoiler when you're at 2. Continue.
Until he's met with the choice of killing Joker or killing... Well, Red Hood will do it himself. And he ends up, doing a little Batman move and not having Joker killed, and instead just takes the gun away from Red Hood. But he was a really good Batman in that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I did not put the animated series Batman on my list, because I don't really watch the animated series, so I'm not going to really talk about it.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I'm disappointed, but okay. So, my number 4 is the Burton movies from Batman 89 and Batman Returns. Okay. These 2 movies, however flawed that they are, gave us a great Batman. A Batman that kills. A Batman whose parents were killed by Joker. I know it's flawed, but there's still 2 great movies. One is severely better than the other. I would consider Batman Returns.
You're talking about Batman Returns?
Yeah, I would consider Batman Returns a masterpiece and Batman 89 a moderate good film. But they're both great. Look, the one's better, but they're both great. They both have great villains. And Batman in them. Batman is very unique in them. Normally you don't see him so unhinged. But in Batman Returns, it was like he was insane. Like, he was a little kooky in that film, and I really liked it. And he was pretty weird in Batman 89, too. I love, and the scenes with Vicky Vale executed perfectly how disturbed he was, kind of, and how, much he wanted to move on, and how much... I think you can tell that he hates being Batman, but that he has to do it. And how he's, rotting inside, wanting to be with Selina and Vicky. Too bad we didn't get a...
Isn't Selina Wonder Woman?
What? No, Selina's Catwoman. But sucks we didn't get a third one, and then it turned into Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Okay, one thing I have to say about Batman 89 is if you just count all the Batman, killing scenes as accidents,
then it's a great movie.
For instance, if you count, since he's a new Batman, if he didn't want to kill, but he accidentally killed. There's a scene where he blows up this place, but it was technically the villain's fault for shooting so much, and the giant nuclear factory, and the whole thing blew up.
Technically, Batman did utter the words.
I mean, he did kind of cause it.
He did. He did also say the words to Joker, "I am going to kill you." So, he did say those. So,
I don't know, but the murder of Joker was a little bit of an accident. I mean, I know he did try to throw him off a cliff.
He literally told him he wanted to kill him. He literally said, I'm gonna kill you. You idiot, you made me. Wait, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses. Pfft, dead. Dead. He killed him.
I know.
Well, he punched him off, and sure, Joker grabbed onto his helicopter, but he still died.
If you just don't mind that he said that one part about killing Joker, and you keep all the kills as a mistake of Batman's hand.
So basically, what you're
saying, he doesn't really kill.
So basically,
I mean, Joker's thing was just a plane accident.
I mean, technically, you could do that with any film. What you're saying is, if you if you pretended it doesn't have flaws, then it doesn't have flaws.
I mean, like that. I don't really count that as a flaw. I personally like Batman killing, but like the movie, it's just really
why Batman
like
shouldn't.
He doesn't kill, and it was just a mistake of him being new.
Why do you like Batman killing? Batman,
that's
a big part of his character.
I mean, I know it's a big part of the story that he does kill, but my personal, one of my favorite Batmans is Batman from Flashpoint. That is such a Batman. I actually kind of forgot about him. But it's when the Batman from Flashpoint is basically the Batman where Batman, it's not Batman, it's Batman's dad. Bruce's dad. I mean, yeah.
But that's not Bruce. So you can't say Bruce should kill based on one version that's not even Bruce. But anyways, what is your...
I mean, yeah, but that's one of my favorite Batmans.
I mean, sure. But still, it's not Bruce. Alright, so, but what is your favorite? I mean, what is your number or whatever? 4? What number are you on?
My number 3 is the Batman from The Dark Knight.
Of course.
This Batman is such a good Batman.
I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I mean, once again, the actor didn't really look like, a Batman character.
He looks like Bruce Wayne, though. He did a great Bruce Wayne, but a subpar Batman, I think.
And again, he also didn't look like Batman at all. I feel like he was a little too skinny to play Batman.
I think he was a little too short.
Yeah, he was too skinny and short. Like, he
just
wasn't the, physical form of Batman. Like a muscular guy who can just beat everyone up. He's flexible, but yet he's strong.
I still thought he was good,
that guy was just skinny and short.
I still thought he was good.
But then again, this is another one of those that are surrounded in a really good Batman movie. And that's why they're on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, The Dark Knight's great. I love The Dark Knight.
It's one of the best live-action movies of Batman.
I think it's one of the best movies. Period. It's my favorite movie of all time. So yeah, The Dark Knight is of course great. And I guess that'll segue into my number 3. My number 3 is, of course, the Nolan movies. And the reason I don't put it higher is because I think my number 1 and 2, give the spirit of what Batman is better. And I think that the Dark Knight movies, despite the Dark Knight being amazing, all of them are amazing, but I just feel like they're left a little under my top 2. But yeah, I really like the Nolan films. I really do. My favorite's Dark Knight. Second favorite's Batman Begins. Least favorite's TDKR, but I still really like TDKR. But yeah, they're all great. And they have an amazing Batman. And I feel like the Dark Knight trilogy is just one giant tragedy. And, okay, Grayson. So you know who in Dark Knight Rises, Batman, dies, and then Alfred goes to that cafe and sees him with Catwoman?
Yeah.
Do you think that was in Alfred's head? Or do you think Batman actually survived? I like to think it was in Alfred's head to make it more of a tragedy.
I never actually thought about
that. I think that Nolan left it open to that so that people would wonder. I don't know. I think he probably intended not to be that, but he did definitely leave it open for fan discussion. But yeah, Nolan movies.
That's really interesting, actually. I've never thought about that.
But yeah, the Dark Knight movies also have the best Alfred, in my opinion, the best Lucius, the best live-action Joker, not the best Joker.
Oh yeah, Lucius is the best in that.
Uh-huh. I mean, he's Morgan Freeman, so of course he's going to be great. But what is your number 2?
My number 2 is, here I'm checking real quick, Batman, not Return of the Batman from Batman '89, but Batman Returns Part 1 and 2.
It's not Batman Returns. Batman Returns is the one with Penguin and Catwoman, but with Danny DeVito. The Dark Knight Returns is the one that has the Part 1 and 2, the one that you're talking about. Get your returns straight. Batman Returns and The Dark Knight Returns. Get it straight. This is serious business. This is Batman.
That one was a really good Batman. I mean, does he kill?
No.
Like, I don't really know. I wasn't really paying attention to that when I was watching the movie. But I'm pretty sure he does.
I don't think he does. I need to rewatch it.
Like, he really did try to kill Superman.
No, he didn't. Remember the speech he gave? He was like, after this, you're going to remember the one man who beat you. So he didn't want to kill him. He didn't want to kill Superman.
I mean, before that, he said, I'm going to kill you.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that he's going to kill Superman. But then later he was like, oh crap, I can't kill Superman. You're going to remember the one man who beat you. And then he had problems with his body.
But yeah,
But I mean, at the end, it's so good. Because you think he's dead. Like, I personally thought he was dead. And then he just comes back.
Yeah.
And raises a new age.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. That was a really good stopping point.
Mm-hmm. I do think it was a really good movie. But it is not on my list, but it is a very good movie. But my number 2, as a series, my number 2 and my number 1 are almost equal. As I feel like they're very similar, and I feel like they both really serve what Batman is. I feel like, and the versions of their characters are all very similar. So my number 2 is the Arkham games. Okay. When I think of Batman, I think of Kevin Conroy as Batman from the animated series and Arkham. I think of Mark Hamill as Joker, and I think of the Arkham versions of most of the villains, which are very similar to the animated series versions of all the characters, which, spoiler alert, is number 1. But yeah, Arkham has a perfect Mr. Freeze, perfect Poison Ivy, near perfect Catwoman, perfect Penguin, the best Riddler, the best Joker, the best Oracle. Everything about the Arkham games is so brilliant. I think Arkham City, in my opinion, is the best thing out of the comics to show what Batman is. Not the series as a whole, but Arkham City. Because it is just perfect Batman. It has, like, he never kills, he never does anything that's not Batman. He's just Batman. And Arkham City, when I think of Batman, I think of Arkham City. Period. It is an amazing game. It's my favorite game of all time. And that is because of how perfect Batman's character is. And how amazing, and all the villains are great too. Hugo Strange, Joker, Poison Ivy's great in that game. Mr. Freeze is great in that game. Riddler is perfect in that game. Penguin's amazing. The Arkham games are amazing. And this is going to sound weird from a guy who just went on about how much he loves the Arkham games. But I'm so glad they're over. I'm so glad they're dead and buried and that Gotham Knights is a total reboot.
Well, I mean,
because I didn't...
There is Suicide Squad.
That game.
Movie coming. I mean,
the game
coming 2021.
Yeah, but I'm glad, the Batman series is over, because I feel like the story's getting too convoluted, and I feel like if they made another Batman game, it wouldn't have been good, so I'm glad Gotham Knights is going to be its own universe, thankfully. And there are still people who think, oh, Arkham Knight is connected to Gotham Knights. Oracle is not in a wheelchair in Gotham Knights, though. And Jason's a part of the family when he wasn't really that accepted. Ra's al Ghul should be, like, I don't think they'd include him, because that would go back on player's choice, because he should be dead. So, but yeah. Gotham Knights, I'm so glad the Arkham games are over, and they can be set as a pedestal on some of the best Batman things ever, and hopefully the Gotham Knights will follow in their footsteps. So what is your number one?
My number one? Well, I actually had a rethink about my number one. My number one was gonna be the son of Batman.
Really?
Batman. But I rethought my list while, like, after I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And my number one Batman, this is going to trigger you, but it is Batman from Flashpoint. The reasoning being, he just feels like he lost everything. He kills, yes he does. It is Bruce's father. So, technically Batman. But, he lost everything. And at the end of Flashpoint, spoiler, 3, 2, 1, I did it. He just literally loses everything, including his life, to kill his whole universe so his son can live. He lost everything. He was extremely depressed, and he was going to kill Harley Quinn, who is like a yo-yo girl, and that. But he didn't, because Flash told him. I mean, that one guy said and stopped him from doing that. He was about to end Harley Quinn. Because he lost everything, and nothing else matters to him except for death to criminals who killed his kid. And when a glimpse of hope is shown, he will literally do everything for that. At the end of the movie, he was totally dead. There's no way he could have lived.
Okay.
He watched his family die. He lost everything for his kid.
Okay.
I just think it was the best.
Flashpoint's a good Batman. But it's not Batman.
Oh yeah, and plus I have nostalgia for that Batman. I watched Flashpoint when I was like 6 years old.
Okay. I think Flashpoint is a great Batman. But I don't think he's Batman to me. Batman is Bruce Wayne, and Batman doesn't kill. That movie is a great... I haven't seen it, but I've, know of it because of the comic story that it was based on. But that is a Elseworlds version of Batman. It's an alternate
So you basically can't talk about it?
No, I can. Because it's an iconic story that everyone knows, or the book. But it's not Bruce Wayne, and he kills. It's not Batman to me.
But he's still related to Batman.
Yeah, but he's not, Batman.
And he takes on the Batman suit.
Yeah, but I feel like number one on your list...
Like in Bad Blood, Nightwing takes over.
That's still not Batman to me.
Making him...
Yeah, but
Batman.
And that he could be a great Batman, but I feel like the number one Batman should actually be Batman. The best Batman should be Bruce Wayne. And my Batman doesn't kill. My Batman is Bruce Wayne. And my Batman tries to reform his criminals, tries to help them, and tries to make them better. And that is why my number one Batman is Batman the Animated Series. Now it's a toss-up.
I knew that was going to come.
Yep, it's a toss-up between the Arkham games. Arkham games have my nostalgia. But Batman and the Animated Series, I think, has the better writing. Every single episode proves why they have the best Batman. Except the first couple, because the first half of the first season, they were still trying to figure out what kind of show they were being. But season 2 and 3, and the second half of season 1, it really amped up. And Batman, he tried... And, the episode Baby Doll is about a new villain. She has a deformity to where she can't grow, and so she decided to act on a TV show as the kid character. And after the show was shut down, she goes insane and tries to kidnap people. And not only is she a great villain and do they explore her so well, but they also explore Batman really well, even though he's not the main focus. At the end with him, like with the scene with the mirrors, it's just like, it shows how that Batman really cares about his criminals and tries to make them better. Batman isn't a guy who goes and punches criminals and brings them to jail. Batman is a guy who goes and punches criminals and then tries to help them, then tries to make them better. And sure, and that is what Batman will always do. And that is what Batman will always be. A symbol of hope for Gotham, and a person to try to make people better, despite living in the most corrupt city ever made. So, and for my honorable mention, I already said other two, but my honorable mention, the comics, of course. My honorable mention is the comics. I couldn't put them at number one, but the comics are, of course, the better Batman, because that's what Batman came from. That's what Batman is. Comics. Ooh. Comics. But yeah, the number one should be comics, because that's what Batman came from. But outside of comics, animated series has a perfect Batman. Oh, and the actor's great. And his relationship with Joker, and all his villains. So yeah, anything to say, Grayson? Nope.
Okay, my mic really glitched out and I could barely hear anything you said because my Wi-Fi sucks. Because, keep in mind, viewers, Xfinity, it's a scam. The whole thing. It will scam people who don't know about the internet. It scammed my grandma.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And now she's too stubborn to change it.
That is our top 5 best versions of Batman. Leave yours in the comments below.
I think I got it now.
Say it.
Ready? Good day and good night. No, it's the other way.
Good night and good morning.
I mean,